Export procedure. In this module, you will learn about the steps involved in the process of export of goods. Selling goods outside the country is much more complex than selling them within the country. It is because the goods will have to cross the boundaries of the nations involved. There is also an involvement of foreign exchange, rules and procedures of more than one country to be followed, etc. Receipt of inquiry and sending quotations. The exporter receives the inquiry from the prospective importer or purchaser directly or through advertisement in newspapers, etc. about the price, grade, quality, weight and other descriptions of goods. This inquiry is answered by the exporter by way of a quotation called the pro forma invoice. Receipt of order or indent. If the prospective importer is satisfied with the information contained in the pro forma invoice by the exporter, he places an order for his required products. This order is also called indent, which contains the instructions by the importer about the goods, price marking, delivery details, etc. Assessing importer's credit-worthiness. Once the indent is received by the exporter, he assesses the importer's credit-worthiness to make sure that his payment will be met in time after the goods are dispatched to importer. Thus, he asks for a letter of credit from the importer. This letter of credit is issued by the importer's banker to honor guarantee of payment to exporter's bank. Obtaining pre-shipment finance. After receiving a confirmed indent and letter of credit, the exporter approaches his banker for pre-shipment finance so that he can procure raw material, process it, and pack and deliver the goods to the port of shipment, production or procurement of goods. When the pre-shipment finance is obtained, the exporter either produces the required product himself or buys it from the market for his order. Pre-shipment inspection. The next step involved in case of certain goods is inspection of goods by a government-designated agency to ensure that only good quality products are dispatched for exports from the country. This agency, if satisfied, issues inspection certificate to the exporter. Inspection certificate is mandatory only for certain trading and export houses. Excise clearance. The exporter has to take excise clearance from the excise commissioner. In most of the cases, the government exempts the exporter from paying excise duty, or if paid, it is refunded later on. The idea is to encourage the exporter to be more competitive in the global market. Reservation of shipping space. Now, the exporting firm has to reserve shipping space and obtain shipping order from the shipping company. Packing and forwarding. Goods are then properly packed and transported to the port with necessary details about the name and address of the importer, weight of goods, port of shipment, country of origin, etc. on them. On loading the goods, the exporter gets a receipt which represents the title of goods, and this has to be presented before taking delivery of the goods from the port of shipment. For this, the exporter endorses the receipt in favor of his agent to take the delivery of goods. Insurance of goods. Goods are then insured with an insurance company to protect them against any loss or damage due to perils of the sea. Customs clearance. Before loading the goods, clearance from the customs authorities is necessary. For this, the exporter prepares shipping bill containing information about the particulars of the goods being exported, name of the ship, port where goods are to be discharged, country of final destination, exporter's name and address, etc. Obtaining mate's receipt. When the cargo is loaded on board, the commanding officer of the ship issues a mate's receipt to the port superintendent. Mate's receipt contains information about the name of the ship, berth, date of shipment, description of packages, condition of the cargo at the time of receipt on board, etc. The port superintendent hands over this mate's receipt to the clearing and forwarding agent. Payment of freight and issuance of bill of lading. On the basis of mate's receipt submitted by clearing and forwarding agent to the shipping company, freight is computed by the shipping company. Shipping company issues bill of lading to the clearing and forwarding agent as an acceptance of goods to be dispatched at the designated place. In case the goods are dispatched through air transport, this document is called the airway bill. Negotiation of documents. After informing the importer about the shipment of goods, the exporter sends the required documents through the banker to the importer. These documents are certified copy of invoice, bill of lading, packing list, insurance policy, certificate of origin, and letter of credit. In this module, you have learned the following. The steps involved in the process of exporting goods are receipt of inquiry and sending quotations, receipt of order or indent, assessing importer's credit-worthiness, obtaining export license, obtaining pre-shipment finance, production or procurement of goods, pre-shipment inspection, excise clearance, obtaining certificate of origin, reservation of shipping space, packing and forwarding, insurance of goods, customs clearance, procuring carting order, obtaining mate's receipt, payment of freight, and issuance of bill of lading, preparation of invoice, negotiation of documents, securing payment.